Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Forum.
I'm Alfredo.
I'm Brian.
Bemnet.
Micky.
Okay, so I think it's my turn to pick the topic.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like it always seems to be Brian's turn.
You guys, for evidence, go back to the other videos. We all take turns. Micky.
No, we don't.
Anywho.
I feel like I've never once chosen.
There's the door.
There's the door, bitch.
Okay. Is it expected to move out of your parents' house? Would you date someone that still lives with their parents? Let's discuss.
Okay.
All right, sir, do the honors.
Yeah.
Okay, who wants to start this topic?
Well, I think we should just kind of let it be known that we all kind of live with our parents at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it hasn't always been that way for some of us, but we do live with our parents right now.
Apparently.
Okay, so I say whoever wants to start first, discuss their living situation now, and now their thoughts on the topic. How's that sound?
I mean, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, anyone want to go?
I mean, I guess I'll start because no one else is jumping at the chance.
I mean, okay, if you waited more than like a second.
Okay, fine, go ahead.
Okay.
I feel like
let the girl goes first. The girl with the poof.
Poof, poof. I mean, I still live with my parents right now, currently. I've always lived with my parents. I haven't never moved out or anything. But I don't think it's I feel like it's expected within like certain cultures or like how you grew up to like move out. Within my culture, it's not really, so I don't really see it as a big thing. It's just like, oh, you still live with your parents? All right, cool. Do you have goals to move out is like what I'm thinking. It's like, do you expect to live with your parents forever? Because I don't want that. I really don't want that. And yeah, I would date somebody that still lives with their parents. I am currently dating someone that still lives with their parents. So, I don't know. I feel like...
Way to throw the boyfriend under the bus.
Bemnet's no longer single.
You're an idiot.
If you guys have been following us for a while, she was single in the first few episodes.
She really was.
First of all, I mentioned something about having a partner like a couple episodes back.
Yeah, but the first episode you were single, and then, Mr. Christian came in for the swoop, and now she's taken.
I never said his name yet, but yeah.
Wow, name dropping.
Right.
shit.
I was like,
I mean...
well, Dad, just throw him under the bus again.
He who shall not be named. I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, okay. Okay. Whatever you say.
All right, Bemnet, continue with your discussion.
I mean, that's kind of it. I feel like this one's a short one for me. Like me personally. I definitely date someone that still lives with their parents, and I don't expect somebody to be moved out already. At least not where I'm currently at in my stage of life, because I'm still living with my parents, so why would I expect that for somebody else?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, my situation is a little bit weird. So, yes, I lived with my mom and my stepdad when they were married, and then they went through this messy divorce, and because of the divorce, we basically had to split ways. My mom moved in with my grandma because, again, struggling and all this stuff, and then I decided to move in with the help of Freddy and of course Micky. I decided to move in with them and their father, who was really amazing for letting me stay with them for about 3 years, I think.
Too long.
Wow.
But so basically I guess you could say I kind of was living on my own-ish. I mean, yeah, I still live with these guys, and of course, like, their dad, who has this amazing house. But I did pay my way. Like, I did pay rent, and then of course I paid for my odds and ends here and there and stuff like that. So I guess it was like a little bit of taste of being independent, I guess. Now that the divorce was finalized, my mom wanted to basically get a house for me and my brothers, and I think that's something that all parents strive for, is to leave their kids protected in case anything should happen. So me and my mom, we got this house together, and now that's where I'm living. We all split the rent, we all split bills, and then everyone takes care of their odds and ends. So it is, so I am doing my part. But I can honestly say that I'm not ready to move out. It is too expensive, unfortunately, to live on your own. I think mostly everyone can agree with that. It's not like it was back in the day where it was more. I think it was a simpler time, economically and however you want to put it, for you to be able to move out and afford an apartment. Nowadays, you can't do that unless you have like a really, really good job. And I think we've established in our previous topics that it's really hard to live on your own in this economy. So no, I can't live on my own unless I really want to like just work endless hours and not have a life and not really like have any sort of like fun. So
It's doable, but nowhere near.
I would not want that life. I mean, honestly, I'm a firm believer that you need to have some type of social life or fun, or if not, work will consume you. But that's another topic that we'll discuss down the road. But yes, right now I live with my mom and my brothers. I don't expect anyone that I date to be on their own. I will never judge anyone for living with their parents because, again, I understand how life is right now. If I do date a partner and they have an apartment and they're thriving on their own, hey, by all means, that's amazing. Like, great. But that's not something that I look for in a significant other. I value other things than what their living situation is. My point of view.
Well, yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, the housing isn't necessarily like a huge deal for me. Like, if you're still living with your parents or whatever, like that's totally fine. Like, I get it. Shit's hard and everything. And I mean, I've noticed that in a lot of different cultures, households. Like, it's not necessarily kind of like how it is like in Western cultures, where it's like once you turn 18 you have to leave. Once you turn, there's a stigma as far as like the United States and some other places go that if you're an adult and you're living with your parents, that just means you're lazy, you're unmotivated,
you're a mooch.
But in reality, it's honestly just a good way to save money.
And to help your parents, because I feel like society has brought up like this stigma, because you see it on TV shows all the time. However, I've noticed a pattern, like it's more American families that believe in kicking out your kid at 18. Like, as far as I can tell, like Hispanics, I mean, I don't know about Bemnet's culture, but Hispanics, most of us are not like that. Like my family, like my grandma has my aunt living with her and stuff like that. Like my cousins, they are around my age and they're still living with their parents. But however, like they help out. They have their full-time jobs. They help with bills. We pay our way. So there's a difference between what the stigma is of being a mooch and living in your parents' basement, how you see like in comedies. And there's like when you really want to help your parents, because I think a parent's worst fear is for their kid to leave and get married and never see them again. So the fact that you're with your parents and you're helping them and you have your own life and they have their own lives, privacy is respected. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah. I mean, because you mentioned it, like with I guess my culture, like Abisha culture, for the most part, it's kind of the same as, I feel like it's really, really similar to Hispanic culture, where the kids aren't really expected to leave once they're 18 or like once they're a certain age. It's no, you stay with your parents until you're old enough to get married and live on your own. And even then, a lot of the times they'll, like, especially if you're like living back home in Ethiopia or Eritrea, you'll still stay with your parents for a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
So
you've been very quiet, Michelle.
Well, because me personally,
right, pues.
Oh, God.
now they need to have a good paying job at 20, have their own house at 25, and be making six figures by the time they're 30. I'm just kidding.
Michelle's living in a different reality.
I mean, I was going to say Michelle's being a hypocrite, because what is your living situation, Michelle?
I'm just kidding. No, I guess I don't have a problem if they're living with their parents. Like, I currently live with my dad, and like with me, I understand that right now times are hard, and honestly, like I help him. Like, we pay bills, we make sure everything's done, and not even that, like I'm also there for him when he like needs stuff with like his credit cards and stuff like that. Like, I'm always constantly helping him. And again, in the Hispanic culture, like they're not just gonna kick us out, so
unless you fuck up real bad. But even then,
because I was a rebellious child in my teens and he didn't kick me out. He doesn't know my life anymore. He
won't kick you out because he doesn't know.
I think we should tell her dad to tune into the show.
No, thank you.
Nah,
no, thank
he doesn't
you.
have the patience for that.
No, he doesn't. He'd watch 5 minutes and be like, I'm gonna go watch my black and white movie. Because this is more entertaining. Wow. No, but yeah, me personally, I mean, I kind of agree with you guys. Like, I don't really have a problem if they're living with their parents, you know, and as long as they're not a deadbeat that doesn't have a job and they haven't had a job for a few months and they're, you know, sitting on their ass doing a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
You know, because once you've done that, I'm like, I can't.
There are some exceptions. I don't want our listeners going, hey, like, I don't have a job because I'm disabled or whatever. There are exceptions.
Yeah, there's always exceptions. But it's like, in my case, I'm like, if you truly just don't want to work because you don't want to work, like you're choosing to just live off of, like, you know, what your parents make or whatever because you don't care to do anything for yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, because you're more than willing and you're more than capable of doing it, but you don't.
Yeah.
Then it's like, so you want me to sustain you. You want me to take care of you. Mm-hmm. Like, I guess it just depends. Like Brian says, there's always different cases, different scenarios. Like, you know, I understand shit happens and stuff like that. So I completely understand.
Yeah, sometimes you lose your job. Sometimes you're... Yeah, I mean, you might be, like, going to school at the same time.
Yeah,
and,
no, of course.
Like, shit like that. And why are you going to pay, like, $1,000 or plus a month to just have a bed?
Right.
You know, so you might as well just, like, go home, pay a fraction of that, and just go to school and work your job in the meantime or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm. Also, in my case, I mean, for me to date a guy, he doesn't have to have a full-time job. As long as he has a part-time because he might be going to school or whatever, that's fine. Like, again, there are other things that I value in my future boyfriend than what he makes and where he's staying. I think there's other things that are more important than that aspect. But again, everyone is different. Some people will probably argue and go, no, I don't want to date someone that has a crappy job or that doesn't have enough money or that doesn't have a car. There's different people, and I think that's what makes the world what it is. Is like not everyone is gonna agree. Mm-hmm. But I think it's the way that you also deliver it. I mean, if you know, you don't be a dick about it.
Don't be like, no job, you still live with your parents? Ugh, don't talk to me.
Like, and there are people like that. There are legit people like that are so cutthroat about it. And my thing is, you just never know in this life. You can, like, things shift. You can be on top for as of right now, but then something happens and you're at the fucking bottom. And I think I kind of wish that was something that would happen so people would understand. I think one of the things and again, this is going a little bit off topic, I wish that everyone would have to work. Everyone's first job would either be at a fast food place. Bless you.
Thank you.
Everyone's first job would be at a fast food place or retail. I think that if that was the case, we wouldn't have so many entitled people. Because a lot of people don't understand what you go through. They don't care to understand.
I actually disagree with you there. Because my first job wasn't fast food or retail. I did work customer service, so I did have plenty of Karens that I had to deal with. But there are some people that, even if they start from like the very bottom and work their way up, they still have this mindset of like, oh, I did all of this. I worked my way up. I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. Okay.
No.
Dang, Bemnet checked me.
I mean, she's not wrong, though. Yeah, she is. She's not wrong. Like, you know, it's true. Some people just, you know, and here, like, not only that, but it's also adding to, like, the way they grew up, you know? Like, they could have grown up with, like, a shit ton of money, you know? And literally, like, they didn't have to work for it. They didn't have to work for anything, but yet they still did shit to kind of keep that cycle going of having that amount of money. And now that they're at a decent spot because of the fact that their parents had money, now they feel like they can look down on everyone else.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Bitch.
yeah, and again, it's not just jobs. Like, we don't know what anyone's going through right now. Like, for all you know, you okay?
Continue.
For our podcast listeners, Freddy dropped his water bottle.
That's how we.
Oh God. Anyway, but yeah, like everyone has different struggles. Like, some people might not have a choice. Some people can't move out. Some people might be an only child and their parent is sick. So they might have all the means to leave, all the money to leave, but they're not going to abandon their parent.
Yeah.
You know, and so I feel like for another person to criticize that or to, to like look down on someone that's still living at home when they don't understand what they're going through is really messed up.
Yeah, it's because of the stigma of like, oh, you still live with your parents, you're a mooch or whatever. Every situation is just kind of painted over with one brush. Mm-hmm. So at least for some people, for some people they just say, oh, you still live with your parents, oh, you must be lazy, you must be unmotivated, you must be whatever, blah blah blah, I don't want to date you. But in reality, like we just talked about, it could be a million different things as to why you're still living with your parents, you know. I mean, that doesn't help that, you know, in the economy how it is right now and how recession and stuff,
but inflation, all the money economy stuff.
Yeah. But here's I guess this kind of tags along to it. Would you date somebody that was still living with their parents at like a certain age? So like, let's say they've been living with their parents since they were like, like 10. I don't know. Hold on. Let's say that their parents divorced. Okay? Let's say that their parents divorced. They were staying with one parent, and then at like 20 or whatever, they decided to go live with the other parent.
Okay.
That other parent was either sick, or maybe that parent didn't have any other children. Like that child is an only child.
Okay.
And now this child is now, instead of 20, they're 40, still living with their parents, taking care of them or whatever the case may be. Would you still want that? Like, what if they told you, like, after like a few dates or whatever, and you're like, I really like you, like, I want this to go somewhere, whatever, and they're like, I just can't leave my parents.
I feel like that's similar, but it's a different case entirely, because it's not a case of, oh, why are you like, such and such, like 40, like why are you 40 years old still living with your parents? Like, instead of that, it kind of turns into, do I want to devote my life to this person who is going to be stuck taking care of their parents majority of the time? And that's something that you as a person have to evaluate.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to say yes. I would. Here's the thing. If the guy that I fall in love with is amazing in every way, he just checks all the boxes, and he tells me he can't leave his dad because he's sick, or his mom because he's sick, I'm not just gonna cut it clean, because to me that's stupid. Here's the thing, I want to know how the relationship is, because it could be a super like beautiful relationship between a mother and son where she's just sick and it sucks. And I would love to get to know her, and if this does go somewhere, maybe I can even help take a little bit of that weight off of him, you know? Because if I'm gonna end up with him, she's gonna be part of my family. But there's a fine line between a healthy relationship and overbearing. That is where I draw the line. I can't be with someone with an overbearing parent. I dated a guy once with an overbearing mother, and he was wonderful, but I couldn't do it. She was just getting in everything when it came to our relationship, and it was just awful. So if that was the case, then no, I couldn't. But that's because I can't deal with her getting in my business. But if it was like super sweet and everything, well, yeah, why not?
I think we're missing a very, very important point here, or a very important topic that we haven't even talked about yet in regards to this. Is there an inheritance?
Oh my God.
No.
There's $5. I got $3. I got $3.
I'll do it. No.
3 whole crisp dollar bills.
Ooh, the crisp.
From the bank.
Brand
there
new.
could be 4.
They could be. Some of the dollars could be stuck together.
Somebody rescue me from these idiots.
No, I mean, to me, I'm kind of in the same boat as Brian. It's like, as long as the relationship is healthy, and it's like, it's not like leechy, or like or it's not like some like telenovela thing where she's just faking to be sick the whole time or something.
Oh, manipulation.
But as long as it's not something like that, as long as like it's like, oh no, I really have to take care of my take care of my mom, or take care of my whatever, like I'm like, okay, all right. Like I was talking with a guy a long time ago, before I met my boyfriend, and he was still living, he was living with his grandparents, and they weren't like super sick, but he just thought like, I need to be around them because they're old and we're scared my grandpa might pass at any minute, blah 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 blah. So I was all like, okay, yeah, you know, if this ends up working out, you know, I don't care that you live with your grandparents. I don't care because you're taking care of them. You're being whatever. And he had the means to actually live on his own for the most part. Like, it was probably still going to be a little bit of a struggle, but he could live on his own if he wanted to. But I was all like, no. I'm like, if you're living with your grandparents, if this ends up working out, then fuck yeah, you know? I mean, it didn't end up working out, but
Right, of course.
But you were more than willing. I think that's the point here. It's like Freddy was like, I like him, so I'm gonna just take him how he is, how he comes with. And you know, and it's not just like parents. Like sometimes you fall in love with someone that has kids from a previous relationship. You like
hard stop.
What?
Hard stop. Red flag. Run.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding.
If he has two of them, they're two red flags.
Anyway, but yes, I mean, I think I would say yes. Freddie would say yes. Bemnet, did you say no?
Bemnet says no. I
I'm
don't
not-
care
no.
about other people but myself.
Don't speak for me.
This is all very true.
No. Listen, I'm a bitch, but I'm not that much of a bitch. Initially, I want to say yes, but it really just depends on the situation. Like yeah, I would as much as I can, I would want to stay in that relationship and see what I can do to help, if anything. But it depends on honestly how sick their parent is. Like if it's to the point where they need 24/7 constant care, I can't devote myself to that. I really can't. Now, if it's just like, oh, they're sick and I need to make sure they've got like this and this like meds taken at like a certain time of day, or I just need to check up on them like at certain times or make sure that they've got this and that, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's doable. That's no problem, sure. But if it's 24/7 constant care, I don't think I could. Mm-hmm. So it's a mostly yes. Mostly yes.
Yeah, with conditions, but yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I think we all kind of agree. Like it's a mostly a yes, but there are some conditions to where like whether or not we would agree, we can't agree fully yes. You know, like I feel like it's just not like that. And I mean I kind of agree with you guys. Like it's just I don't know. Like I always think about it like I've seen shit happen, and you know I've had shit in my past happen like. You know, I guess one of the main reasons why I brought that up was because it made me think of, like, what I've seen in the past with other people. And one of the biggest things is that person specifically moved his wife into their home, like their mother's home. So it's like, this is technically her home. So you don't really have the liberty to be like, this is my house. Like, I get to do whatever I want. Even though you're here and you're living with us, this is still technically your home, so I can't really do what I please. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, for sure.
So it's like that's like another situation. Like what if you had to move in with them and technically this is his mother's house or her mother's house, and it's like you don't really have the liberty to really do anything because it's not your house.
I mean, as long as there's like civility, because like you can always like. You can just sure maybe like at the decoration, like things like that, like you don't have that much say in. But when it comes to like, I don't know, like, oh, you know, I want to make dinner tonight, or hey, I want to go out as a whole family, whatever. I want to do stuff like that. Like you can still have like civility and everyone's like happy hunky dory, and you know you can still get along with your like in-laws or whatever the case may be. And it's just like. I don't see I don't honestly like see like a huge problem with that. Yeah, it's like, but as long as it's healthy and as long as it's not like a monster-in-law type situation. You guys remember that movie? That was a good movie. But like as long as it's not something like that, or like where like they actively like don't like you and where it's like can become hostile. Then you know if it's everyone's cool with each other, I don't see why not. I mean, eventually, obviously, you're gonna want to move out with your partner and start your own life and everything like that. But for the time being, that's not a big deal.
It's all about communication.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, it's also one of those things where you say for the time being, but that shit could be 40 years. like that person could outlive y'all.
Again, this is what I mean
it's like
communication.
I mean, that's true.
I think there's once you get like you actually realize you're with this person forever, like you're married
It'll
or
change.
Yeah, you're married, or you realize this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. You could still be living with your parents, and you could be there for a couple years, but I think there's a push like inside of you that's like, I want to start my own life with my own family type thing. I want to start my own family, my own thing. Mm-hmm. Even if that family is just the two of you and like a dog or something. Yeah. Like, it's like, I want to do my own thing. Like, I want to be able to find out what, because there is a certain like freedom, I guess, to living on your own. Because I actually did move out for a while. And it was like, granted, yes, I struggled because I was working 2-3 jobs and I was hardly ever home and all that stuff. But that space was, at least because I was with a roommate, some of the space was in fact mine. And it did feel kind of nice, and it kind of felt like, I feel like when you move out, you kind of start to kind of realize the kind of person you're becoming. Or you're meant to become, or whatever.
Right.
So it's I don't know, because to me, I started to find out like I mean like how far I'm willing to go to keep a roof over my head, and how much patience I have with how much patience I can have with other people, and and things about my depression and things about my anxiety and stuff like that. Like, all that started coming up to the forefront, and I'm realizing, okay, these are things about myself that I probably wouldn't have noticed if I didn't have a fire on my ass to pay these bills.
The fear.
Just so you guys know, at that time you could have found Freddy on Boulder Highway.
Wow.
Nah.
Okay, for the people that do not live where we live, that's like whole corner.
That I mean.
Kind of. Yeah,
it's like, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty high traffic area for like prostitutes and sex workers, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, you just kind of find out that things about yourself when you live, even if it's with a roommate. When you struggle, yeah.
When you struggle, yeah.
Essentially, when you struggle, you kind of realize how much you can handle.
Well, here's like a little piggyback question. Would you guys still date someone that lived with a roommate? Because some people...
Fuck yeah.
Some people would like... They don't even care what's around. It's the roommate that bothers them. Especially if the roommate is like... Of the different gender... Or same gender if they're gay or whatever.
Okay, let me start this. My thing is... Y'all need to like it just depends how they treat each other, because let me tell you something, I've seen some shit and I'm like, me personally, like, no, I've seen it on like YouTube and TikToks and stuff. But I'm just saying, if they gonna be all like, oh hi roommate, how are ya? I'll be like, whoa, what are you doing?
Some people
back the fuck up.
Some people are like that though.
But I'm just like okay, I feel like, okay, hold on, listen to me. There's boundaries. Yeah. Because here's the thing. They can go like this and hug them like this and be like, oh, hi. And I'm like, bitch, let me tell you something. I've had that, and my suspicions were correct.
Okay, no.
I had that shit happen to me where they were like, oh my God, how are you? This was to my ex. They were like, oh my God, how are you? How are you doing? I haven't seen you in forever. And then he'd be like, oh, this is my girlfriend, Michelle. Oh, hi, nice to meet you.
And it was just like very
and
awkward.
I'm like,
very dry, very like.
I'm like, no, you don't.
I understand that to an extent, because like how I am with you guys is different than how I am with other people. Like y'all remember when you first met? Brian thought I was quiet as fuck because I was quiet as fuck. Like, I didn't talk. I was very like shy, polite, and I'm just like, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. I'm just here existing.
I thought you were a square.
I probably was.
I thought you were gonna say squirrel.
And that's just kind of how I am. As a person, I like to observe before really speaking up and, stirring any trouble. But once I know y'all, I say a lot of stupid shit. And I'm just more comfortable. So it's stuff like that, but it's also a difference between just kind of like being all up on somebody and then turning around and just being like, oh, hello.
I mean, I think trust your gut. I think that's the best thing. If something feels off, it's 95%. You're right on the money, and so yes, trust your gut. But sometimes there are friends that are affectionate like that.
No,
I mean, not us. I mean, we all love each other, but I'm not gonna be like,
Brian, I love
get away from me. But that's not how we treat each other. The way I treat Michelle is hi, bitch. Like, it's just stuff like that. Like, but every friend group is different. My thing is, if something seems off, that I'm gonna say something. You can tell. You can just the vibe is right there, especially. I mean, it's gonna be hypocritical because again, we dated and now we're really like we're best friends, and there's no attraction there whatsoever. So it will sound hypocritical.
his face.
Shut up. But it is a little bit of a red flag for me if my significant other is still living with their ex. Granted, I know it's hypocritical because I live with
so.
Freddy.
3 years.
But I can guarantee you that there's nothing there, and my future boyfriend could be like, well, there's nothing there with us either, and like that's fine. But again, the vibe that you and that person have that seems off, I'm gonna say something because when me and Freddy are together, there is no romanticness. He's a dick to me.
I hate him
every day.
But I know he's just being stupid. But that's how we are.
I'm not.
Shut up, Freddy. So I don't know. It's just like it's a very sticky situation. So my thing is, if there was no romanticism, like if my guy lived with a girl roommate, I wouldn't care. Because again, I understand that it's really hard to make it on your own as of right now.
Yeah.
Things, like Freddy said, things are going up in price. Every freaking month, it's like a new increase in something. And as of right now, I think, like we said, like right now, work-wise, a lot of jobs don't really pay you a livable wage. It's just a mess right now. And if you have a career, like let's say you're a doctor or a dentist or a lawyer and you're making bank, that's awesome. But be mindful that not everyone is like that. Like again, some people have struggles. Some people couldn't go to college to study what you're studying, even though they really wanted to. Life got in the way, and now they're having to work, I don't know, like a cashier job just to make ends meet. But that doesn't mean they're not a wonderful person. That doesn't mean that they don't check every other box for you. So I would give that person a chance. Again, my 2 cents.
That's okay. You bring me food. It's okay.
I feel like it also counts on like what the person's goals and dreams and aspirations are too.
Yeah.
Like if they're stuck doing like a dead end job and they're like, yeah, this is the dream. This is great. Then I'm like, that's great for you. That's not what I'm looking for. That might not be something that you're looking for. But if you're with somebody and they're like, yeah, this is what I'm doing currently, but this is what I want to do in the future, or this is like stuff that I have planned out and stuff that I'm excited for, that to me is attractive. Like I like knowing that you have stuff that you want to do in the future instead of just being like, whatever.
I mean, there's also something to be said about if you're working like say a cashier's job or whatever, but you maybe you don't even want to leave the field that you're in. Maybe, you're working there, but maybe one day you're thinking, maybe one day I do want to be manager, or maybe one day I want to work
have my own store
and have my own store, or be corporate, or work in corporate, just go up the ladder or whatever.
And that's fine. That's still dreams and goals you have.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
No.
It also does count if you're working somewhere and you feel stuck. Just try not to stay there. Try not to stay stuck. Try to figure something out. Do one. If you're there, just do one thing every day that makes you happy. However minute it is. Like, go have that cookie.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Do one thing that makes you happy?
No, stupid.
To have a cookie?
No, I hate my friends. Anyway, no. What you said about having goals, like yes, having goals is important, but some people just don't have an idea of what they want to do with their life, and that's fine. If my guy's working as a cashier at your local gas station or pharmacy, and it's not a great job, but he's happy there, and he gets his shit done. As long as he's happy, I'll be like, okay, we can work with this. It's the moment where he goes, I hate it here. I hate my job. And it's affecting our relationship because he's upset because he doesn't want to be there anymore. He's upset because he can't make ends meet. He's upset because he can't take me where I want to go. Then it becomes a problem. But if he is giving me what I want and I'm happy and he's happy, that's fine with me. If he tells me, I don't know what I want to do with my life, I'm happy right now, let's just roll with it. I'm like, okay, cool. As long as you're happy, that's fine. And it's not messing with what we have, it's fine.
See, I agree with you, and I think I should have been more clear, because everything that you said is true, because I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't know what I want to do career-wise, but there's things that I want to do. There's places that I want to go to and things I want to try. That's kind of what I meant with like goals and dreams and aspirations, not just the whole I want to have this kind of job or whatever. And it kind of ties in all together. So the job that I have right now, yeah, I'm happy. I don't know if I'll be happy there working forever. Job I have is also not guaranteed for more than like a year and a half, but that's something I'll deal with later. I don't know, like as long as you have some kind of like goal, whether that's work-wise, personal-wise, like if you want to, like say your goal could be like in the next couple of years I want to go on like a giant road trip all across the states. That's great.
I want to do that.
I do too. That sounds fun. But that was just something I chose at random.
Let's take a year off of work and just travel across the US.
I cannot.
Can we win the lottery first? Because that's the only way it'll happen.
Right, I'm like, bitch, I'm poor. The fuck?
I got $3.
Hold on.
Maybe
They're
$4.
crisp dollars.
Maybe 4. It'll be stuck together.
But yeah, like just have some kind of goal in general. And that's all I'm asking for. Like, just don't be like, yeah, I'm okay just like going to work, going home, and doing the same thing again tomorrow. And like that to me is just it's kind of boring.
It's not a good life.
It's not. And I mean, honestly, like, there are so many things in this world you can do that you don't have to spend money on. Like, now with, like, the internet and the way it's advanced and everything, like, YouTube has so much shit. Like, I've been telling Bemnet, like, I want to learn how to sew and shit. I'm bad at it. I feel like I'm going to be terrible at it. But hey, if I can, I'm like, it takes practice, and I'm like, at the same time, Bemnet's always here. So it's like, sometimes she can just bring her sewing. Is she not, though? Like, my dad,
we've always said this is practically my second home.
Yeah, seriously, if my dad could have her here, he would. He'd be like, "Bitch, just go sleep in the other room." Like, the fuck? Like, my dad loves her, So it's like, honestly, like, there are so many things you can do nowadays that doesn't require you to spend money. Literally,
you're gonna have to buy sewing things, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
What do you mean? I got extra fabric, extra
Not everyone
thread.
has a Bemnet in their life. Bemnet.
I got a fabric. I got a fabric.
Stupid. And so it's like, I mean, you don't necessarily need to do a lot of things to make a whole lot of money to make a person happy.
Well, no.
I'm just like, I've been cutting flowers from the neighbor's yard.
What?
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Stop lying.
Your neighbor's probably like, I don't know what's been happening in my garden lately. Just doesn't look as vibrant.
That's how I get my men.
Stupid. No,
I cut them one flower.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm with that too. Like, I just don't. Well, for me, it's like I don't need to make a lot of money. Sure, it'd be nice or whatever, but I don't need to make a lot of money as long as I'm making enough money to make ends meet. Like, as long as I can live comfortably and still have money to save and maybe go on like a vacation once or twice, like once a year or whatever. Like, that to me, that's great. To me, that's fantastic. To me, I love that. I don't need to make millions of dollars every year or whatever. I don't need to be making like Jeff Bezos money. Like, I just want to live comfortably. And I feel like nowadays that's getting harder and harder. And that's some bullshit.
Not that I wouldn't mind 10 billion. I mean, I'm just saying.
No.
But again. All right.
If you just gotta give me $1,000 a week, it's fine.
I mean, in addition to your job?
In addition to my job.
I think $1 million a month. That's okay.
No, just 1,000. Just 1,000. I wouldn't have to cut the neighbor's flowers anymore.
Stop saying that.
Give me $1,000 a week. I won't work anymore. That's like $4,000 every month. That's more than I'm making.
That's
First of all, I'd be paying off my debt first.
Yeah, I need my debt paid off.
And living your best life.
And no, because honestly, I think about others before I think about myself. So I'd be paying off my debt, but on top of that, I'd also be giving my dad probably more money for rent so we can pay off the house faster. And then, once the house is paid off, then Michelle go on vacation.
Or you could just make payments, without him knowing, and then pretty soon you'll be like, guess what, Dad? I paid off the house. Yay.
Maybe.
Fair. I'd be like, okay, now sign this so you can sign the title over to me.
Mess.
All right, guys. Well, I think we've talked about this enough, and we're already side railing again.
What was the original question?
Oh,
like,
God.
would you live with somebody, or would you date somebody that lives with their parents?
Yeah, I mean, we've already answered it, and then we even went into roommates. You guys, I heard I want to live in a 5-bedroom duplex.
I wanted to live in an igloo.
Let's all live in a duplex, all of us.
I
get our
wanted
own
an
bedroom?
igloo.
Yeah, and then we have like a common area in the middle.
I'm down.
I want to live in an igloo.
Okay,
The-
we can have
Shut
your,
up.
you can have your bedroom be igloo style.
This is why I
You know,
wanna
real
die.
ice and everything.
Okay, but I want the circle. I don't want the
We'll
square
round it out.
You can
We'll
leave.
round it
or
out.
the rectangle. I
There's a
want the-
door. There's a door, bitch.
You can leave.
Okay.
But look, imagine.
round it out.
Hold on, listen to this. Imagine an igloo, okay? It's all blue, and the floor's kind of like icy cold. And I wake up in the morning and I slip and I fall every morning because it's really slippery and cold.
This is the
And
moment that
then-
someone turned off the freaking podcast.
Seriously, they're like, why
Why
am I
listening
still
to this?
watching this?
Okay.
Okay. On the condition that you have like an igloo entrance or you have to crawl into also.
Okay. I'll also have a penguin at the entrance with a suit. I'll be like, you gotta learn how to speak. Speak now, bitch! And then, I'll just go from there.
Let's just quack every morning.
Okay. Yeah, definitely side railing now. Okay. If you're still watching, thank you. But yeah, this has been a very good topic, minus the last 10 minutes.
My talk was not 10 minutes.
God, I felt like it.
It was
Anyway,
like the best 2 minutes of this entire podcast.
That's right.
I hate y'all.
but yeah, do you guys agree with our point of views? Do you not? Do you feel like you wouldn't date someone that's lived with their parents? Please tell us why. Or, if you agree, why do you agree? Why do you disagree?
Also throw in if you like with the whole roommate situation too. Not just
Yeah.
parents, but what about roommates?
Yeah.
Or are you living with, or are you with someone who has roommates? Or are you in like a roommate situation right now? Or like, I don't know.
Tell us your stories.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I'm so curious. I'd love to know. I'd love to know what you guys have gone through. I'd love to know your guys' experiences. I mean, I'm sure it'd be fun to read, honestly.
Yeah, seriously, because again, we are just talking about what we think it might be. But again, everyone has a different struggle. Everyone has a different story.
Yeah.
So if you are going through a story that makes you go, hell no, I'm never going to live with someone that lives with their parents again because so-and-so happened, please let us know.
Yeah.
As always, be respectful and follow us on our TikTok. Send us your stories anonymously. If you don't want to do it on YouTube, you can send your stories to the Fourum Gmail. And then, of course, we'll if you allow us, we'll share it and we'll give you guys a shout out.
Yeah.
Also, if you have any other topics or thoughts that you want us to talk about, or you want to hear us speak, let us know. Comment. Let us know through TikTok. DM us. Also send it to our email. Yeah, we'd love to hear what you guys want to know about, or you speak about what you guys want to hear. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Forum. I love you guys.
Also, before we sign off, because we don't really broadcast this too often for our YouTube people, we do have a podcast on Spotify. We're currently only on Spotify, but go ahead and check us out on Spotify. It's the Forum.
Same name.
It's the same thing. You can just, instead of having to see our faces, you just hear us.
You know. Sometimes you want to sometimes you're sick and tired of your playlist and your whatever, and you're just like, you know what? I just want to just do a podcast right now. You can pop us in and
Time
just.
to listen to a podcast is when you're driving.
Yes, please don't watch us on YouTube if you're driving. Log into Spotify. It's the same thing. You just won't see us.
Yeah. So check us out on there. It's same kind of format, same everything, and you can still always reach out to us on TikTok and our email and whatever the case may be.
And if you're on YouTube, we'll have our link tree down below so you can check out all of our socials.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for the love and support.
Wait, hold on. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
No.
Anything else?
No,
Anything
good.
else? Okay. Before you rudely interrupted that bitch over there.
He was done.
Well, now he's done.
Okay.
But he wasn't done before.
All right.
Ew. You're so ugly. Let's go.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.